I'm at TA Truck Stop in Deforest, Wisconsin, which is also known as Medicine East Travel Center. And these guys, they have an authorized facility for doing DOT inspections. And mine was just about to expire, so I came here last night and they said, oh, because on the Landstar website it says Landstar inspections 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. So I come here around 6 o'clock and the guy at the service counter says the earliest we can do it is 8 o'clock. I said, why not 24 hours, right? I'm here. Oh, we don't have the mechanic, like the one that's trained to do this kind of thing. He comes back only at 8. And I was spending the night here anyway, so I just shut down. And now they did the DOT inspection, and also the guy said that clamp on the exhaust that I did about a month ago, and if you remember I was saying something is doesn't look right on the big exhaust pipe coming out of the turbo, and the clamp was broken. Now the guy who fixed it, he didn't do, this new guy says he didn't do it right. He didn't put it, there was still the exhaust leak because part of the opening between the pipes was not covered by this clamp. So he says, if you have the receipt, we'll do it for free. So I found the receipt, and he put a new bigger clamp and closed that gap. So now we'll have about like 600 horsepower instead of 550. And then so he did the inspection, checked out everything. I didn't run into any major issues because, you know, sometimes these DOT inspections, you know, something can be wrong and you have to fix it, and it can be pretty expensive. Like a couple of times I had to change, usually something to do with brakes. That's what I had, I think, maybe a few inspections back. There was a leak in on one of my brakes, and it basically destroyed the lining. So that was like 500 bucks, you know. It's never cheap on a big truck. So this time I just got away easy. And oh yeah, and I asked him to clean up the cable, that ground cable. One of the last things, that plus the ignition lock, right? That's the only culprits left that can be responsible for that loss of power when I turn the key. So he disconnected that cable from the starter going to the ground, and he cleaned them up. And I said, can you check them with your, you know, voltmeter if they're, you know? And he checked, and it says they're within specs. And he says usually if there's corrosion inside, that's one tip for long-haul drivers: always drink lots of water. Because I noticed that's when you drink just coffee and tea, that you still need water. And I found that whenever I don't drink enough water, I have bags under my eyes, and I was always looking for a solution. What the heck, you know, like I don't drink that much, you know. But turns out that's the problem, because I always drink tea and coffee, but that's not, the body needs water, and that's where it stores water under your eyes, because it's kind of like a last resource of the body to keep water inside your, inside your organism. So that's why nowadays, and just in the morning, I just buy a gallon, can of water, and I just keep it in my truck. So when I'm driving, whenever I feel thirsty, I just do this. So anyway, he checked that cable. The cable is okay, and because I was about to replace it, but the guy says no, you don't need to replace it. So okay, we left it at that. And then I checked my tires, and the steer tires are fine, but the drives are all kind of different. And I didn't want to bother, I checked the outside tires. A month ago they were all 105 psi. Now some of them are 102, some of them are 103, and I didn't check the inside tires. And now I asked him, I said, can you make sure they all 100 psi, because it's too hot outside. I don't think I need 105. And he said one of the inside tires were like 3 psi below 100, so he made sure they're all the same. And then I went hooked back to my shiny new trailer, and actually that was supposed to be the topic of the video, but as usual I got distracted. The topic of the video was the tires that I have on the trailer. They're 255, what is it, 70 R22.5s, and they're Dunlop tires. And they, of course, they're better than my 17.5 tires I had on the 48 step, but because at least these are rated for 75 miles per hour. Those 17.5 tires, they're ridiculous, you know. That's why I didn't get the low profile step deck this time, because those tires just blew out real easy, you know, because they cannot handle anything over 65. These are what most RGN and double drop trailers use on those car carrier guys, and actually they have an H rating, H load rating, or 16 ply, so they're pretty strong. But the problem with them, I find, is that on my serial plate it says tire pressure 120 psi. Are they crazy? And I look at my rim, and the Accuride rims, and on the rim there's you know, stamped information, and it says maximum tire pressure 130. So that's what the rim can take. But it's, let's say it's 90 degrees outside, or plus 35, 40. And if I put 120 in those rims over there and I start driving, guess what the air pressure will be after 2 hours? I know, because I checked. It'll be at least 10 psi more. It'll be 130. You know, so that's too much. But I was checking the specs of the tire, and in order to get 5,000 per tire, that's what you need to put in. But yeah, that's just too much, you know. So what I did is I checked the tire pressure this morning, but again, outside tires, because the rears were hard to reach. I mean, the inside ones were hard to reach, and they were all pretty much 110. So that's what they put at the factory, right? So 110. So I figured, hey, I'll stay with this, especially when I have just regular load, you know, 35, 40, 45,000 pounds, you know. Because the way you figure, look, I have 12 tires now, right? So let's say I have 45,000 pound load, and it all sits on the trailer, just for the argument's sake. Let's say we discount the steer tires and the truck tires. So let's say 45,000 pounds, that's the like typical load, divided by 12 tires. So it's only 3,750 pounds per tire. You know, that's why I think that I really don't need 120 psi, because I will use that only if I have a super heavy load, you know, let's say 75,000 or 65,000, something like that, or in winter. That's my thinking. So if any of you guys are former tire mechanics, you know, give me a tip here. What do you think the pressure should be in 255 70 R22.5 tire in summer and in winter? Because my thinking is that I'm gonna use 110 with regular loads in the summer, because it'll go up by 10 psi on the road, so it'll be 120. And in winter I'll use 120 with all loads, because in winter the tire does not warm up, so it'll stay at 120. So basically I'm thinking that I want the tire to be at 120 after 2 hours of driving, and that's to achieve that. That's what I need 110 cold in the summer, right? And that's why I call this video "Kicking the Tires." But I'm not too happy, you know. Why does it need so much pressure? But it can definitely take it, because it's a 16 ply tire. Just that, you know, it's hard to find 120. You cannot do it yourself. You have to go to the shop, because even if I buy one of those hoses, I use them before and hook up to the truck, I know it'll never reach 120. It's okay for 100, 105, but 120, you need a shop to do that. So this is Deforest, and I'm on schedule. I didn't drive too much yesterday because I woke up real early to get that load. And now it's already 10:26 local time. So I'm gonna start driving, and I already found all my next stops. So 2 hours from here is Black River Forest. What is it? No, wait. Black River Falls, the Flying J. And then after that it's Hudson, Wisconsin, on this side of the river from St. Paul. That's another 2 hours. And then after that, that's Sauk Center, Minnesota. my favorite spot near the Walmart. That's another 2 hours. And then the final stop for the day will be Fargo, North Dakota. So that will be around 490 miles. That's what I have to do today in order to be in Alberta on Wednesday. Enjoy your weekend.